So the first exercise we're going to talk about today that's part of your handling category is haltering. So I'm going to work with Smokey, and Smokey already knows how to join me, which we're later going to be doing in this course, this month's course. I'm going to be showing you part of the Liberty training that specifically talks about and demonstrates and shows you how to teach and help your horse come to you. We'll do that later, but right now I'm going to ask Smokey to come to me, and I would do this if he was in his stall or out in the pasture. I will not go to get my horse. I will only go so far and see if they'll come and meet me, because that tells me that he wants to partner with me. And that's always, it's always that way. It's always that way. So he's sleeping next to the camera person. Come here, Bo. So that's my cue. You guys are going to be learning more about this. We've already explored this exercise and what this is all about in previous courses and modules. So that was the come to me cue. And he does know what come here means. I've said it enough, and it becomes habit. So I've asked him to come. So he's going to come over here. So now I know that he is willing to participate with me and join me in partnership. So it has to be this way. Remember, you're not just learning specific skills and exercises on how to train horses. You're keeping and maintaining and nurturing, fostering the relationship in everything you do. And it doesn't get any better than this. So I'm a right-handed person. I'm going to have to move Smokey around. I'm going to show you how I want my horses to learn how to halter themselves. I'm going to show you with a basic standard halter. They're turnout halters. We just lead them out, hook this on the fence, and they go out without anything. And then I'll show you with the rope halter. So it's really important, if he were in his stall or even in the pasture and I called him, that he comes to me, and absolutely has to be that way. We'll not go get him. So the purpose of teaching horses to help you halter is that they are not only, their mindset is on me right now, right? He's not looking around. He's not focused on anything. Now, let's say you're in an environment where it's a showground or there's lots of people riding around you and lots of stimulation. This will still work. You may have to go, hey, come back to me, but it will work. And so that's the added value of this exercise and this training, is that anywhere you go, whether you unload your horse for a trail ride and there's 20 other trailers and 500 horses out there, or you're on a show, at a show, on the showgrounds, at your barn, I want this mindset. I want this horse with me, not with the environment. Everything you're learning up to now is to help you with this. And then we're going to do some Liberty work that's going to really pull it together. So his mind is on me. He's quiet. I see that. So I'm going to put the lead rope over my left arm. I am now going to ask him, he already knows, to come into this pressure, into this yielding pressure from my hand, and to help me put this on. I want it just like this. Because if I go to put a bridle on him, especially a big horse like Zor already knows. As soon as he sees these halters, Zor, my big 17.5 Frisian sport horse, puts his head down in. But it didn't start there. So it started with all of this work, this Liberty work, this foundation. It started with me having a great relationship with my horse, and then teaching a specific technique or cue. And that specific technique or cue, once my horse came to me in the stall, was, okay, I'm going to gently put my hand on by your wither. I'm going to slide my hand up. Let's say his head is up here. The closer I get to the pole, right here, I'm going to put some pressure on and release, pressure on and release, pressure with your fingers, fingertips, pressure and then release and rub, pressure and release and rub. Because what you want to teach with the release and the rub is that every time you get ready to do this, he knows that that means you're getting ready to ask him to put his head in the halter. So I don't want to have to keep pushing my horse's head down for the rest of my life. That's not the cue. This is a technique to teach your horse that as soon as he sees the halter, to put his head down. I hope that makes sense. I'm showing you all the strategies and techniques to help the final cue, and the final cue is showing him the halter. So as soon as he sees it, he puts his head in, or the bridle, or the head stall, or the rope halter. Where do you begin? And let's say his head is way up here. You begin here. Maybe you have to put the halter on already. And I prefer a rope halter when I'm teaching. This is just the halter to take them out to the pasture. So the head's up here. You'll do whatever you can to put the rope halter on. Just get it on. And then you're going to start teaching your horse to yield to pressure. So see, my left hand is way down here under his chin. When I pull down, the pressure comes around his poll. The rope halter works much better. It's a thinner piece of material, which means that the pressure is going to be 2-3 times more directly applied. So he might resist and resist and resist, and I'm sorry I don't have a horse that's going to back up and resist like that, but that's what most of them do in the beginning. Young horses, restarting horses. He's pulling, you're just going to keep pulling down. Use both. Keep pulling, keep pushing, keep pulling, keep pushing. Good. Once he relaxes, make this a wonderful safe place for him. Lots of rubbing, lots of release. So we're not using treats, obviously. We don't train with treats. We don't reward with treats. You are the treat. Okay, so if your horse won't put his head down low enough for you to halter him, or work like this, you're going to have to figure out how to put the halter on, get it on him, and then work with pulling under the chin and pushing with the other hand on the neck all the way down to the poll. Good. And then your fingertips are the key points here that help him realize. And believe me, I've worked with so many horses, they're like here and they're pulling. You're going to have to do your best. Smokey was one of them, especially being a pullback. You could not tie this horse. So he was extremely resistant to pressure. So you've got to do your best with both hands. This is your basic handling, but also in-hand work to get him to trust this and to come into it and give to it, because this is the way I want to halter and I want to bridle, no matter how big the horse is, how tall the horse is. So that's your basic halter. Let's look at the rope halter. Same procedure, same process, but we're going to also go through the steps. There's 5 steps to tying this. Now look how flimsy the rope halter is. And I still see many of my students putting them on incorrectly. So right now I've created a quick release. If the camera wants to zoom in, this is called a quick release. You can see the tip, the end of the rope halter sticking up. So if I pull this, it comes out. Reason being is I like to keep my equipment nice and tidy and together, and we hang these up on a nail outside the stall. So it hangs really nice. Plus, if you're going out to get multiple horses, it's easy to just tie everything up like this. All right, so we're not going to go into the steps of, well, maybe I will. Let me show you with the camera, if the camera wants to zoom in. So this is the nose piece right here. And what would happen, I'm just going to throw this on Smokey so y'all can see how it fits, and we'll go through the steps. So this is how the rope halter sits on Smoke. Sorry that it's black on black. Nose piece, under the chin, throat, over the pole. So let's just take this off now and look at it like this. So my left hand is going to hold this knot here. And if the camera can catch this, this is going to be how we create a quick release. My right hand's going to create a loop. You can see this loop. I'm going to feed this loop through the loop in my left hand. So there's a loop here, and I've created a loop here. This was straight. Take about 6 to 8 inches and bend it and create your loop. Push this double rope loop through your left hand loop, just enough for a finger. Now you're going to take the 4 or 5 inches that's left over, and you're going to loop, create another loop where your finger was. And you're going to have to use both hands to tie, secure, and tie that. Let's do that again. Quick release. Left hand holds the first loop. We also call this the hitching post. So remember that. We'll just call it the hitching post. You'll see why. Hold the hitching post. Take about 8 inches of the rope, the end of the halter in your right hand. Bend it. Make a loop. Stick that right hand loop through your left loop. Only high enough for a finger to go through. Remaining rope, you're going to loop again through where your finger is. Now both hands are going to have to work to secure this. There you go. It's your quick release. Very important. Okay. Now my left hand is still on the knot. Don't let go of that knot. Just keep your eye on this. So left hand is on the knot. We've already done all of our training for the head to come down, the neck to come down. He's right here. He's ready. Now watch what I do with my arms. Left hand has the knot, goes under the chin. Right hand goes over the neck, like you're hugging him. You want him to feel safe here. You want him to trust this. You want him to give to this pressure. So when he feels my arm on here, I want him to give, not to back up. Now watch my right hand. I'm gonna find, I don't have to see it, find the end of your quick release. It'll be pointing up. Find it. Pull it. That's what these halters were made to do. So now I've got a rope around his pole and around his neck. Should I need to pull him into me? Did you notice how he came in anyway? Beautiful. Let's get this side view. So now he's already been taught to come with the pull of this rope halter and to help slide his nose in. So this is step 1. There's 5 steps to tying. Let's just put the halter on first. That's step 1. Step 2 is slide the long rope, the end piece, through the hitching post. That's step 2. Step 3 is shimmy and hold right on the fleshy part with your left hand. Take the nose band and hold right on the fleshy part while you shimmy. Shimmy, so you tighten this, but hold this so it doesn't slide up. Right over here on the fleshy part of his nose. Shimmy until it's snug. That's step 3. Step 4 is take your left pinchers, left hand now. Now watch this. Take your left hand and pinch up here above the hitching post. Pinch up here. Step 5 is take the remainder, which hopefully you have at least 5 or 6 inches of your rope halter. Come back behind the hitching post. Now use both hands to pull the end through. You have to tie on the hitching post so that when this halter gets pulled, and some horses pull, it tightens. Do you see how it tightens between these 2 points of contact where my thumbs are? Most people, even my students, they tie up here. This is incorrect, not correct. Because for me as a trainer that deals specifically with rehab cases and pullbacks, if I have a horse like Smokey used to be that decides to run backwards or bolt sideways, they will pull this through. Do you see how it keeps working itself loose? Because you need 2 points of contact to secure this. Plus it just comes loose and then it's hanging half off your horse. So you do not tie up here. You tie on the hitching post. All right, so that's your basic handling, haltering, your basic haltering and where you want your horse to be. So if I pull on this, how willing is he to give to that? This is so important because this is going to help you with your contact when you ride. Everything you are learning is a building block. It's not useless information. It's not because I think this is important. This is important because it develops everything else. All of these exercises develop your horse to the best that he can be, mentally, emotionally, and physically.